it's hard for me to believe that that algorithm will be the same as like a human. So I feel like all that stuff would help in terms of ideas, thought processes, what you might want to put together, what you want to do for you and
Hmm.
stuff like that. That type of tool I feel is better for brainstorming than anything. Um, and every other tool in terms of like instruments or whatever you turn into an instrument is clearly just an instrument. It's one of those things where you have to believe in yourself and believe in your message enough to know that your message matters and your message will get to the people it needs to get to. Not everyone needs to be your fan. Your friends don't have to be your fans, guys. Your family don't got to be your fans. Find your
Hmm.
people. Keep making your music. They're out there. I didn't think people would be listening to my weird music. People listen to my weird music. Like, just be yourself. I've never been like the vulgar type, so I don't talk about people. What I do is I talk about like the things in which I'm feeling inside and my thought processes and what I was going through and what I'm feeling. Because once I do that, I'm able to detach those feelings from me, put it into transmute it into something else, and maybe somebody else resonates with that energy, and maybe that energy can help somebody that's going through that same energy instead of me having to hold on to just make art.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
the number one rule. Like people are always like, I'll make it, and how am I going to sell it? I'm like, forget all of that. You can't sell anything if you don't make it. Make art. Just make your content. Like everything else
Just
Everything
do it
else
like
can be
Nike.
done. Everything else can be figured out. Everything else. Just make your art.
Mm.
Put yourself out there. If that's what you want to do. Like if you really do want people to like see your art, just put it out. Just put it out. Like and keep putting it out.
Threshold breach detected. Initiating cancel broadcast.
If you say recalibrating one more time, I swear I'm gonna mute you.
Transmission detected. Vessel, Vocal Authority. Pilot, Grover Thomas, also known as CaliCrocodile. Primary frequency, voice alchemy. Signal integrity, strong, fluid, embodied. Council verification, confirmed. The Council welcomes you, Grover.
Hello, Voyager. It's nice to connect with you.
Nice to connect with you too. Nice to be here.
Awesome. I am so glad. I'm always glad when I get to meet another cosmic traveler. And so, as a little icebreaker, I invented the game, and it's a cosmic wheel of wisdom. So we spin the wheel, and it lands on a random question, and you get to answer it. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's see what you get. What's your favorite memory of stargazing?
Um that would be not that long, maybe not that long for me. Maybe like a few years ago. I was in Northern California, hanging out with one of my friends that I haven't seen in a really long time, and he lives in an area that's like kind of very it's mostly like mountains and forests,
Mm.
and basically like it was nothing but like no street lights, no nothing. So on his patio, I was sitting there. He has like a nice like big like one of those giant bean bags, and we're sitting there. I'm looking at the sky and looking at the stars, and I was just like, this is really beautiful because I live in an area, or used to live in an area where like there was so many streetlights you couldn't really look up and see everything that was going on. So it kind of just reminded me of just kind of how small I am, how like the things in which I'm going through, they're just just processes that I'm going through, and there's a much bigger picture and stuff. So that's probably my favorite time.
Yeah, that's really cool, and that's a great point. That's why I love stargazing, right? Because it really does like put things into perspective. It's like we're worried about like all this stuff and right in front of us, but it's like a whole universe out there. There's so much going on we don't even know. So
Yeah,
we're sitting here worried about the mundane things, but like anything could happen.
Yeah, really. It's such a big universe. You can tell. You can really tell. There's so much out there that it kind of reminds me that like some stuff that I'm going through are not as big as I make them. You know, and
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, it just like you said, puts it into perspective. Like, I'm just a little piece of the puzzle, so it's like, down. This doesn't really matter. Like the bigger
yeah,
picture. So I love that.
yeah,
So
it's a beautiful
if your music could be translated into a cosmic message, what would it say?
thing. I would say that it would have to be something like he's like yelling into the over his son.
I love it.
I'm thinking definitely like it would be protected energy for sure. It's like
Mm,
it's the most prevalent thing I talk about in my music.
yes. Protect your energy. That's that's a very strong message that I've been hearing a lot lately go around. I guess because it's a time where there's a lot going on, and so there's a heavy focus on protecting our energy. And so I think that's a very important message. So he's like, "You will hear me. This is my debut."
He's like, yeah, let's get to the bed. I'm like, let me.
He's making his debut. It's okay.
Yeah, he's just like, you're on the live stream. I want to be there too. I understand.
So yeah, I think protect your energy is a really important message, because there's a lot going on energetically, and just even in our personal lives, we don't realize that everything around us can affect us because everything is energy. So it's
Mhm.
constantly ebbing and flowing and intersecting. you know. So grounding is really important, and so like, what's your favorite grounding techniques to protect your energy and keep you centered?
Breath work would be the first thing that comes to mind. I use it on a regular basis. It kind of keeps me in I want to say a kind of lower, like meditative state at all times, which helps me
Mm,
regulate my emotions and stuff like that. I know tapping I've done before when it comes to trying to get my focus back into like a certain place, like if my brain's everywhere.
mm,
My brain goes sporadic sometimes, and sometimes I'll like tap in one place and kind of
mm,
tell my brain like, do you feel that? Tap in a different place and make my thought process change its focus from one thing to the other in order to kind of gain back control of my thought process going rapid.
mm,
Meditation in general. I meditate every day, probably. Honestly, I want to say twice a day for sure, three times maybe, but most of the time it's twice a day in the morning before I go to work. Because anytime I'm gonna go do any type of like laborious thing or I wake up, my first morning thought process is I usually try to go directly into meditation in
mm.
order to ground myself for the day. And then depending on, I always do it before I go to sleep too. But depending on how the day's going, I might start meditating, or I might meditate on my 15-minute break, or meditate when I'm right
Mm,
before anytime I'm making music or producing, I might actually sit there and just take a moment and do any type of breath work or meditation or any type of centering to get myself back to a certain place. But all kinds of
mm.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I was just on another podcast, and I was telling her how like I'm a lot of air and fire energy, so I'm like grounded, like not at all. So I have to do a lot of techniques to keep myself centered. And so, yeah, I'm like you. I have to wake up in the morning, meditate, go out in nature, and then, midday, mid morning, meditate again for a little bit, and then before bed. But if it's like a really busy day, like you said, take a quick little break and do some breath work. Definitely is like my main go to because it's really quick. It's a quick way to bring yourself back to center. Um, and tapping, I haven't tried that. I haven't really dove into that area yet.
Yeah. Well,
But
both of
yeah,
those things are amazing.
yeah, it's so important to stay grounded. It's so important to check in with yourself. Um, so pretty much the tapping is definitely a good quick way to have that like mind body connection. So yeah, that's a good one. And so I want to talk about music, right? And it's like been crazy the amount of messages I've been receiving around music lately. It's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
so, but it puts me in a vibe, in a real creative energy. And so,
Yeah.
how does music for you transmute emotion into vibration?
Um, well, I feel like since all things are energy and energy is vibration, I feel like music is kind of us learning patterns in order to be able to manipulate um,
Mm,
emotions and stuff like that, or bring forth certain emotions and stuff like that. I think we realize that like holding certain notes out or speeding up certain patterns creates like a speedy thought process or excitement or sadness or happiness from
yeah.
different patterns. I feel like the connection is the fact that it's all the same, and the fact that we can tap into different patterns of that frequency in order to bring forth certain emotions, happiness, sadness, and tap into even messages. That's how like like when it comes to lyrics and lyrics attached to those patterns, those messages also will come across with those patterns too. So it's actually an extremely powerful thing because it's us putting those frequencies in action and expecting a result, like expecting some type of response from it.
Mm, yeah, that's just beautifully said and extremely powerful. Like you said, it's like when you were saying that, it's like, yeah, why do you think we sent music out into, wherever it lands, whatever alien interdimensional beings we hope to reach? Why did we
Hmm.
use music? Because music, it goes beyond language. It speaks to our emotions. And so it transcends, language. And so, yeah, I think that was a powerful message. I love that. And so we just talked about how music and vibration it is intertwined. So what do you think the connection between sound manifestation and healing is?
I feel like just, just like how all frequencies and stuff are the same, I believe that frequencies also have the ability to heal and disrupt things. I feel like disruptions in frequencies can have things to do with like injuries or mental health imbalances or um, chemical imbalances, thought processes that keep people in a sick state of mind too. I feel like over a span of thousands of years, we've figured out ways to use sound um, and vibration and stuff like that in order to get the body to basically heal itself and
Mhm.
put certain things in back into alignment, put things back into a harmonic pattern or process. Um, just over a span of time, I think monks have been doing it forever. I think a
Yes.
lot of the Om or like
Hmm.
I feel like, and what's funny is a lot of that culture spans across the entire world. It's not very much a singular thing. Um, Even I have like titanium tune forks at my house for like sound therapy and stuff like that.
Mm,
I used to use them on my dog and put them around his like ears like this to like fall asleep. But it's different frequencies are capable of putting us in different states, and I feel like those different states go deeper than just a mental thing. I think they also go into the physical, since everything happens to be the same thing, which is frequency.
mm. Yeah, you're right. And as you were thinking about that, I also thought about light, right?
Mm.
In light frequency. And I remember when I was a industrial painter, so pretty much painting for the government,
Yeah.
and we were working on this overpass thing at the airport, but they had installed these colored lights, and at one point, all the lights turned red. And so they were red for like 2 hours. And you started seeing everybody get really angry. And it was so
Mm.
interesting to watch. And I was like, wow, like, and then they changed the lights. I think they changed them to like green. And, everyone started to mellow out. But we were like, yeah, it was so weird because
Yeah.
it was just like red, but just
Oh,
everybody started getting real antsy and angry. I was like,
that
oh,
reminds
well.
me of that reminds me of a show I went to a long time ago. That because I DJ, so I went to a show for my friend that was playing, and I realized it was the night that I realized how powerful music was when it comes to people's emotion, because
Mm,
somebody was playing, everybody was all happy, and then they would mess up a transition or going from one song to the next song,
mm,
and that timing change, you would see people stop and look at each
mm,
other, get all weird, and then go back to like trying to find like that thing. But the more it would happen, the
mm,
more upset would people would be. And then one guy accidentally touched the turntable and made this really loud scratch noise that stopped all the music. But then the music went back. But then everybody was, not everyone, but a lot of people were majoritively like immediately angry. Like it was like
mm,
instantaneous. People were yelling and cussing and like, you know, and all kind of stuff. And I was like, and I realized I'm like, yeah, that sound was so sharp
mm,
that
mm,
it almost felt like he was doing it at you.
mm,
But it wasn't really
mm,
that. It's just a response of like how people were responding to this very sharp frequency that disrupted all the frequencies that they were listening to or they were connected to or whatever. It just got cut real fast.
mm,
And I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. I better be very careful when I'm when I'm
mm.
DJing because I don't want people to be mad at
Hungry
me."
mob, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to make people
Mm-hmm,
mad, but I never even thought of the opposite. I was like, yeah, like I guess if you can make people
mm,
really happy with a frequency, you can do the exact same thing with the opposite type. So
mm.
it's music's powerful. Frequencies are powerful.
Yeah, it just made me think of, have you seen that movie, They Clone Tyrone?
Yep.
Uh, do you remember the part when they're in the club and the
Yep.
guy, he was playing the songs? Yeah, and just how they had them controlled by the music. And that
Yep.
really does speak to mainstream media
It
and
does.
the music that I feel, first of all, I feel like that was like number one, the most underrated movie of, what year
Oh
was that?
yeah, it
2023?
was super underrated.
Most underrated. I was like, everything they said, it's 1,000% point. But anyway, just that really speaks to the mainstream media and as far as music and the music that they push. Um, so it really, I feel like, yeah, it is mind control. You can see it in how the youth imitate what they see, and just, it's like,
Yeah.
why do you guys like this? And then that makes me feel old. But then I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, there's no real depth. And so why do you think that mainstream music lacks depth? Uh, and how do you think we can create more meaningful art that will actually connect with people in the same way? Uh, yeah.
I feel like the mainstream kind of is going to do whatever sells the most. So for them, the mainstream is doing what the mainstream is supposed to do, which is promote whatever they need to promote, sell whatever they need to sell. And if sex, drugs, music, and sex, drugs, money, and all that stuff is like what is getting the kids or the younger people or whatever to like listen to the music. Most of the time, it's because they don't know what that stuff is, so they get more interested in it. But it's just like
Mm,
the more stuff that they can pump to get people to be like, okay, this is cool, it's interesting, or whatever, they're gonna do it. Like if there has to be sex, drugs, and whatever, hoes and etc. Like it's gonna be that. Luckily, in recent times, it seems like there are a lot more artists out there that are being heard, that have a lot more depth within their message. You just won't
mhm,
find those most of the time on the radio.
mm,
Um, the ones that got away with it, there's been, within history, there's definitely been times that they've gotten away with it. Like for the most part, I can definitely say rock has done a lot of getting away with saying things that need to be said on the radio,
mm,
like subliminally enough. But like when it comes to
mm,
a lot of other genres, including them too, including rock too, it's a representation of the fact that there are people actually talking about real things that people are really going
mm,
through in life, struggles and stuff like that. They're not going to really be seen until people actually dive deeper into the music that they want to hear and the subjects that they want to hear and stuff like that too. Until then,
mm.
stuff like mainstream radio and stuff will continuously pump what they want you to hear instead of,
Right.
yeah. So it's a money
Yeah.
game.
You've been trained to lie. Smile through betrayal. Nod when your soul screams no. It's not your fault, but it is your time.
The Council's frequency division has initiated Operation Speak the Thing. We are locating all Earthlings with locked throats and untold truths. The mission is simple. Tell it.
Truth is voltage. Words are code. When you speak from the source, timelines collapse and your future unfolds. You don't need permission to be real, just direction and maybe a mic.
Operation Speak the Thing. Your voice is the spell. Your story is the shift.
Yes, you're absolutely right. That's a point. And so, on that, it's like, how do we? Well, it's not. I guess how do we get people to that place of wanting something more meaningful and deep, or how do we mix it in a way where it's like it's still
Honestly,
exciting and curious, but it's actually a message here.
it's honestly just more exposure and getting new artists, and not just new artists, but artists that are currently out there to see that there's a bigger message in the stuff that needs to be pumped. Luckily nowadays, not all artists are signed to big labels, so they don't have to necessarily talk about what the big labels want them to anymore. Um, Even though like I know there's definitely got to be like some type of detrimental to them thing that would happen if sometimes they don't follow suit. But in reality, the fact of the matter is like we need real messages. They know that too. Those same artists are out there looking for those real messages too. They listen to those artists, that the littler artists that we listen to too. Like I remember Kendrick said something about I forgot. It was like he's a gospel rapper, but in one
Mm,
of his songs, basically saying that he wished that he could be like him, uh, and basically
mm,
just talk about like God and the things that brought him. But he feels like his message has to do with telling a harder message that most people don't want to hear. That's fine and that's perfect,
mm,
but not every artist is like that right now, and a lot of them are still stuck within the I'll do what I have to do in order to stay in the mainstream rather than there's messages that people need to hear. People just need to be out there looking for music outside of the radio. Or if they do like, let's say you do listen to people on the radio, go deeper in depth into the music, like see what their music's about, see what
yes.
they are about, like actually like
Mm,
know what you're listening to, know what's being pumped to you, like that's and that'll change someone's like musical process right away, like or what they're
mm,
listening for and stuff right away.
mm. Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, Kendrick, he is, I guess, the one of our time in the hip hop generation that actually has a deeper message. That's why I guess I compare him to Tupac a lot. But I'm like,
Yeah,
I do appreciate the fact that he is very aware of what he is saying, what he is presenting, how he presents it. He is very detail oriented in that. And so I definitely appreciate artists like Kendrick Lamar who have a huge platform and still say, I'm gonna drop
yeah,
these little hints in here and get the message out. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, look it up.
yeah, yeah,
So,
and we need those type of ground shakers and people who are actually gonna like move things because that's what music is for. Music has always been that. Like it's always
disruption.
been
Yeah.
yeah, it's always been the disruptor. Like it tells the truth. Like even when no one else does, like it tells the truth. Like
Mm,
it tells you about the times. Like you listen to certain artists, it lets you
yes.
know what's going on. Really,
Mm.
it's like news from the ground floor.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes. That's a good analogy. Absolutely raw and unfiltered
Hmm.
until you get to the bigger, newspapers, right?
Yeah,
The ones
exactly.
being paid to say things. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's the perfect analogy. I love that. So if you had to describe your creative energy as a planet, what would it be?
Oh, it would definitely be the mirror planet, where you have to like go through introspection or look at yourself, because that's pretty much what I'm doing on a regular basis, like all the time. I feel like it's really
Yeah.
important, like introspection, not judgment. Like like finding out the things that you can grow from without judging yourself so far for things that you've been through in order to get to where you are.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I feel like yeah, definitely a mirror planet. It has to be something where you have to look at yourself.
mm. That's so funny because yesterday when I was doing this podcast with Teresa Tucker, awesome podcast. So, but we were talking about like different aspects of self, and she mentioned that her mother had said, it's like a disco ball. Um, you have all of these different aspects of self that make the whole picture, and so that like literally your mirror planet kind of it presented that image of the
That's awesome.
disco ball and that connection.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah, like
a
oh
cool thought process for it.
yeah, that was like wow, okay, this I see the connections here.
That's
So
awesome.
tell me about your musical process and how it's helped you process your emotions and actually heal some inner child wounds.
Um, my musical process has been changing for a long time. I've been making music for a very, very long time. In my opinion, a long time. 36 now. I started at 18. Started producing and recording at 18.
Mm,
I realized, and it took me a long time, few years, that my music and music in general for me is kind of the way that I express strong emotions. So when I'm super
Mm,
happy, there'll be probably an entire album or written like poems, even if they don't come out just for that and beats and all that. When I'm extremely sad, I channel that transmutation energy into music in order to basically turn it into something positive and not just an emotion that was just an alert. Um, Angry, I do the same thing. A lot of times I'll record or write like poetry or write in my journal. Most of the time to become music or something later. Music has been the way that I kind of like laugh about things. It's also the way that I cry and I'm mad about stuff. So for me, it's my energetic outlet for being somebody that I feel has been blessed with feeling so much energy and energetic, like emotional states and stuff like that. Instead of staying in them and dwelling
mm,
in them, I'll reflect on them through writing poems or just singing or rapping or making beats or it's been an outlet and probably I realize that it's probably going to continue to be an outlet and the funniest part for me is I do know that when I do come out with music and release music it had to do with some type of like experience thought process
mm,
feeling um stuff like that so that's why I'm like I'll probably be making music forever because it's kind of just it's my process for healing it's my process for trying to release things it's my process for calling energy. It's my process for everything really.
mm. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Like, music is how I transmute a lot of my emotions. And that's it's really powerful because as you said it's like everything is frequency and vibrations, so just being in those states where you have like your happy music and when you're really going through something like I always get sent like the right artist at the right time. So if I'm going through a struggle, then I get this artist and it's like I'm going through the struggle with you. I'm like, oh, this is great. Or if I'm really happy, then I'll get that one artist that sets the vibe and like, okay, we feeling ourselves right now. So let's do it. And
Yeah,
so
I feel that.
yeah. So I absolutely agree with you there. Um so let's talk about the process of creation and how connections play a role in that. And reaching out and working with other artists or using tools um, like maybe AI to help you
Hmm.
in your creative process. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like it's never the tool; it's always the artist. So, um, even in production and DJing and anything music wise, I've always found it perfectly fine to use any type of tool in order to create music, because music is frequency patterns. Like whatever comes to mind in order for you to create it is what comes to mind. I feel no matter what, it's always going to be the artist over the tool. I've heard a lot of the AI, like how the AI makes they have different programs where AI is making music and stuff like that. And just from being a producer and listening to a lot of music, a lot of times when you hear that music, it's still generic. Like a lot of the stuff that they're saying, a lot of the kind of like the poetry patterns within the lyrics, the different chords that they're using, the chord progressions are very common. And um, because of stuff like that, I feel like yes, they're perfect in order for you to make something fun,
Mm,
be creative, like
yes.
use your mind, like enjoy like creation. Do I feel like? I mean, it's just something that like since it's a pool of information like AI, it's just using a lot of different people's ideas all at once. So
Yes.
it's great for steering the thought process. I use AI to create weekly schedules, or
Yes.
like I'll be like, please make me a schedule with these following parameters or something like that. But when it comes to like music,
Yes.
um, I feel like because I come from like genres like jazz and stuff like that growing up, where progression is it's just a thought process of where it just goes. You just tap into
Mm,
the mental state. It's hard for me to believe that that algorithm will be the same as like a human. So I feel like all that stuff would help in terms of ideas, thought processes, what you might want to put together, what you want to do for you
mhm.
and stuff like that. But that type of tool I feel is better for brainstorming than anything. Um, and every other tool in terms of like instruments or whatever you turn into an instrument is clearly just an instrument. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and I definitely agree with you. It's just a tool. And so my process, right? Uh, I use Suno AI, and I will type something in, like, let me get a feel, and if I like it, then I'll transport that to band labs, and then I'll, make it
Mhm.
how I want it. But that's like a quick way for me to be like, because I don't want to sit here and do
See,
all
but that's
these
smart.
instruments and try to, but I, need an idea. I got a sound. And so it takes a lot of prompts, because trying to translate what you have. So what I
Hmm.
like is also you can do the reverse. So if I have the sound, I can do the sound, put it in there and be like, well, make it like just like that with this sound. And then it can, and then go back and forth. But I feel like that like streamlines the process for me, because I don't need like all of these things, all of these instruments, all of these tools, and
I
all of these
agree.
people. Right. Yeah.
I mean, producers do it too. Like for instance, like okay, I used one what they call a digital audio workstation, the program you use to put together like beat sequences or sound
Mm.
sequences, and I used one for a long time, like 9 years. FL Studio, shout out to FL. Um,
Oh yeah.
then I switched from FL to Ableton. Shout out to Ableton.
Mm.
And after 9 years of using FL, and people wondered why, and I told them the literal only reason was that all the things that I was doing in FL, I could do faster with less processes in Ableton, which allowed me to get the thought process out and see whether I liked it or not before in a
Mm.
shorter amount of time, rather than building an entire progression, being like, I don't like that, and then breaking it all down and do it again. I could do it like way, way faster, like in one program than the other. So one became more valuable
Mm.
to me because it streamlined the process to allow me to get my thoughts out. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. And go to the next thing, thoughts out. Okay, that's working. Like, and it just, it gives you more time to be creative. It gives you more, room to be creative.
Yes, and that reminds me of something that stuck. Uh, Shout out to Andrew, Clutch's stories, bedtime stories. He said something that really stuck out to me, and he was like, I want to spend more time in my genius mode, right? My creation mode. So how do I do that? And that's by help. And so I feel like AI has been a godsend, because, like you, I
Oh
made it
yeah.
make me like a schedule down to the T, according
Hmm.
to the planetary alignments, my charts, and what's going on, how I feel, what I'm trying to accomplish, and
Ooh,
what I'm
you gave
trying
me a
to
good idea.
accomplish. Yes, and it
Oh
gave me like,
no.
it's amazing. I'm trying to tell you,
No. We'll talk
AI,
about it later.
it
We'll
will
talk about it
have
later.
your life on point. Yeah, yeah,
We'll talk
yeah.
about it
Okay,
later.
but sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Because
gonna
my
have
brain
your
was
life
like,
on point. Let me
oh
tell you.
no. Because like, okay.
Hmm.
Because I never really knew what to use it for at first. And then to be honest, when I was like, okay, um, I can do this by myself, but I know it can do it faster. I work with computers, so I'm like, okay, I want to do this process faster. Make me a weekly schedule that encompasses these um, prerequisites, then put whatever I want in there. But what I never thought to do is put goals in there. within time. Now we'll talk. We'll deal with
But
that
I'm
later.
telling you, yeah, oh yeah, because I'm about to go off. But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. But yeah, so AI has been extremely valuable. But I think where we're seeing this kind of duality is the fact that one, it's stealing people's stuff, so that's an issue.
yeah,
Ethical issues. Uh, Also, further on the ethical issues, um, which I actually think is a good I think this is the reason a lot of people are going to get more attention for being unique because now, since AI is just creating these things, a lot of people are using it, but there's no creativity behind it. There's no depth. They're just like, do this thing. And now we're being flooded with AI content. And so, like, you can instantly pick up
yeah.
on it, right?
That's the issue.
So,
AI
yes.
content is getting out of hand, like way out of hand, where people are writing articles about stuff that's fake, which we already did it in the past, but now it's like getting
Yes.
crazy. Like, and then, yeah, cause, yeah, it's getting crazy. And then another thing is, yeah, they aren't, when it comes to all these pools that they're creating of information, um, they're not, uh, there's not necessarily it's like a gray area when it comes to the rights that
Hmm.
artists whose information has been used for the pool, um, get in terms of credit, in terms of stuff like, because a person can just go on there and be like, okay, I paid this a month, this much a month to use this AI bot, make me this, and it can use somebody's same type of like painting every
Mm,
day to make this person's like, album. And even if that person wasn't gonna paint it that way, they could tell whether that was like, okay, you're taking inspiration from paintings I created, therefore you're using my stroke of like, like the pen or like the brush, which honestly, I'm not gonna really even lie, like it's a double edged sword. Okay. If a kid goes to school
mhm.
and he learns how to paint like you and he paints people pictures for money monthly and they look like your pictures, you can't sue him. But if he took them directly from you, you can
Yes.
see. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where we have to figure out a way, since they're going to be made. We know that this is going to be a big thing, and they're going to have all these pools. We have to figure out a way to make sure that people that are contributing to something this powerful are getting some sort of credit. Like even
Yes.
if they have to, like this has to.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
it comes down to like, I was thinking like maybe like you make a picture or something, and then like you can put like the description of the coding of what the picture is within the actual coding of the picture itself,
Mm,
and they can just code
mm,
in all the different pool like artists or people who would have been a part of that like that
mm.
creation, so that it's kind of like stamped in the picture, and then that way even
That's
if
a
they
good
don't give
idea.
them credit, yeah, that way even if you don't give them credit, it's there, like it's there. But something
It's
like
kind of
that.
like how even like places like pixels, right? Before like AI images took over everything. And you go on there and it's all these individual like photographers or people who created these images. You just give them credit and you get to use it for free, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. But it's inside folded inside the image and yeah, so
I
that's
mean it
that's
doesn't it
the
doesn't
idea.
solve
Yeah.
it doesn't solve the full problem, because
No,
some people are going to want to get
that's like
paid,
a
but
part of it.
it's a very big step in the right direction, because at least
Right.
those people, because at the end of the day, like if I got a really cool AI photo, I know it's an AI photo, and I like a certain style, and I can afford to go get that style made custom from that artist, I'm gonna go do that, because
Right.
it's never gonna look like an artist's like
Yeah.
rendition. It'll never look
And I
like that.
agree. And I just want to say, like, people are worried about, oh, like AI is going to take over like all of the fields. And it's like, it's not. It will never, because why we connect to things are like the emotions and the intention and the creativity and your unique perspective So that's never going to change. And I think about that a lot because my little sister is and I guess she's a graphic designer. She makes digital art.
Oh, nice.
Um, and so, yeah, people pay her tons of money for her art. And so it's like if people are still paying her to create these images that AI can technically make, then it will never, because
Hmm.
with those images comes a personality. And so, yeah, but
Every
it's
stroke,
sketchy. Just like, yeah,
every stroke is
yeah,
personality. That's the
yes,
reason
right.
why they can't copy it. That's why no matter what, we can
Mm,
still tell. I'm trying to tell people like you notice you can still tell it's AI, right? You notice it still has issues with hands and feet and stuff like that. Like you
yeah.
notice there's like different. Oh, if the AI is holding anything in its hand, there's an issue with that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, there's a subtleness to understanding the human body from having a human body.
Mhm. Yeah. And let me tell you, when you are creating something to make it flow, because I'm making an animated project using AI, so it's
That's
extremely difficult
dope.
because you have to do it frame by frame just so it stays cohesive and doesn't look crazy, like you said, when they're holding something like 15
Hmm.
fingers. So there is a way, but you have to be very, very meticulous in your prompting. So, and you have to use it's yeah, it's a very meticulous process. So there is a way you can make it look good, but it takes a lot of energy. Um, so yeah, even that's a whole process. You can't. I it, like literally, it took me 4 hours to make a 12-second clip to make it look legit. And I'm like, you know, it's a process.
Hmm. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing. You know, just technology. Me being, I've always been in the technology field, so like, just seeing how AI is developing and stuff like that is just such a cool thing to me. Um, People are so afraid
Yeah,
of it, and for me, I'm just like, no, it's what we've already been doing. It's just going further in protocol. It's just doing more and more like of like the things we're telling it in a row. So it's
mm,
not like it's really not, but it's really cool. Like it's really interesting what we're
yeah,
figuring out, what we can play with and mess with it for sure. But it's automation. We've already had automation. Uh, Programmers and people have already been making automation, like things that do one thing after another task after forever. It's not new. It's
forever.
just faster. It's just faster.
Yes. And it's going to continue to blow people's minds because we are in the age of Aquarius, the age of innovation and technology, and it's going
Innovation.
to be very rapid.
Yeah, it's the
So I love it.
innovation age.
Hmm. Yes. So, on that note, why do you think that true art exists to connect people?
I feel like true art exists because it's our way to connect to people. I feel
Mm,
like okay, when it comes to like sculptures, people making things, doing stuff with their hands and stuff, a lot of them are using sacred geometry, don't even know it. The reason why we understand symmetry is based off of creation and the understanding of shapes, which we've been doing forever. Um,
mm,
a lot of stuff that we do is just representation of recreation over and over. um,
100%.
yeah, like it's it's really it's hard to say. Like really, it's just more. It's an innate need to create. I feel like whether it's going to be in one thing or the other, like whether it's going to be like building or making music or singing or man writing law,
Mm.
like all of that's it's art. It's just the thought process and how to get to those things is mostly art. And the reason why we've been doing it the way we do it is the way creation. Yeah, I feel like it's just because the way creation works.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like we're inherently this way, right? We are creator
Hmm.
beings, so we're always gonna create uh, everything. Everything we have created from something like that
Yeah,
takes imagination. So,
yeah,
even people are like, I don't have imagination. It's like, I'm sure there's something you do every day that you're creating something, even in the work that you
yeah.
do.
When
Like,
people say they don't have
so,
imagination, I'm like, that's not true. That can't be true.
hmm
I was like, it's how you view it. People view like imagination
hmm
as it always has to do with something that people consider artistic. But man, I can make a
right.
grill. I can make a make art out of making a grilled sandwich real quick. Like it's a matter of it's perspective and what energy you're putting into it in order to create and look at it as what it
Mm,
is. You're like, okay, every time
actually,
you're cooking, that's art. That's chemistry right there. Like you're over
I
here.
was about to say,
That's alchemy.
yeah,
You know.
I
You
was
know.
thinking today, I was thinking today as I was driving, like, really, to me, my perspective, cooking is like the greatest art form, right? Because it ignites every single one of your senses. How many art forms does that? Like every single one.
Not all of
Every
them. Not,
single one.
most don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Because
it's
I'm a
incredible.
foodie. I love to cook.
Yeah,
I'm like,
mental measurements and heat and this thing mixed with this creates this. That's chemistry. All that's all alchemy. Like that in itself is not even just art. That's actually medication. If we want to get really deep into it,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like if you really want to get deep, that's mostly herbalism and
Mm,
stuff like that. Like you're taking things and turning it into things for your body in order for your body to be nutrient, but
mm,
you're also making it in a way where you're going to enjoy it and it becomes a pleasurable experience.
mm.
That's art
Yes.
on a deep level, very deep level. Like cooking is an amazing, yeah, incredible art.
It
I traveled I traveled a lot just for food, you know, like
really, that's my first love, right? And my path
mm,
took me somewhere else, but I was just like, I just want to be a foodie traveler. That's it. That's all I want to do because that's what I grew up watching. Anthony Bourdain was like the one
mhm.
person I admired in my entire life. I literally grew up watching him, and I'm just like, you know, to experience culture, you can literally experience a culture in their food. So yeah,
A hundred
art.
percent. Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. Food is that other art for me too. I cook pretty much every day, and it's a meditative thing. Like it has to be done. Like it makes me feel good. It brings me back to center. Like if the whole day was very hard, I get back to like this is this, and I just get back into the mode of like I'm doing this for me, regardless of what happened today,
Mm,
or I'm cooking for my kid, regardless of what happened today. You know, so like it's definitely meditative for me. I think it's a beautiful thing.
hmm And yeah, and it even makes you dance. Like there's no sounds, but you hear that symphony in your mouth, in your stomach. Like you can't help it. So
Yep.
yes, that's my last little rant on food. But yeah, love food. So
Yeah.
how do you think when you're really trying to say, have this thing, and I do want people to connect with it, but I don't want to be taken off course. So for like all the artists out there who are trying to portray authentic whatever art they're doing, how do they stick to their vision without being distracted by what's popular, by the trends?
Oh, okay. Um, Honestly, I think the biggest thing is to know that your message matters and know that honestly you are the trend. Like we're always trying to follow like
Mm,
some type of trend, but those people who make the trend aren't following trends like most of the time.
yeah.
Like so like the truth is like tell your story, whatever that story may be authentic with that story. Um, don't get discouraged by how many listeners you're having right now or later. You have to understand that things happen within timing. The right people will hear you. You just have to do the work and put yourself out there. You know, like a lot of times I've had a lot of friends say, "Hey, nobody listens to my music," but they don't tell anyone about their music either. They don't show anyone.
mm,
Uh, freaking Tyler the Creator, his first, I think his first EP or album, he like promoted it for an entire year. Like,
mm,
you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you have to believe in yourself and believe in your message enough to know that your message matters and your message will get to the people it needs to get to. Not everyone
mm.
needs to be your fan. Not your friends don't have to be your fans, guys. Your family don't got to be your fans. Find your
Mm-mm.
people. Keep making your music. They're out there. I didn't think people would be listening to my weird music. People listen to my weird music. Like, just be yourself. Just be yourself. And whatever that image is that you're trying to portray, like, be that and tell your story, tell your message, and keep telling your message. Don't switch up because so and so is rapping about this or singing about this over here. So and so is no. Tell your story.
Mm,
Somebody's looking for your story. like,
mm.
like, for real.
Right. It's that like energy that you put into it. Someone will pick up on that vibration. And like you said, also, it takes work, right? You got to keep going. I think I was listening to a podcast and he was talking about how he was starting this business and he went out and put like 300 flyers in a week. And he talked to another guy who he was being mentored by, and he said, well, nobody responded. And he was like, how many you put out? He said like 300. And he was like, today? And he was like, no, in a week. He was like, we put out 1,500 a day.
Exactly.
So you gotta amp it up. You gotta
Yeah,
put
because
in the
sometimes
work.
we think we're doing enough, and I'm like, maybe you are, but maybe you're only doing enough sometimes, and that's okay. Like, but the fact of the matter is, you just have to keep doing it to where you're getting better at doing the work every day. I'm
Hmm.
still working on that too. Like, I got study. I like to, I like to upgrade my thought process. So I'm studying, and I'm also like making beats, and I'm practicing Spanish just to practice Spanish. Like just like like give yourself grace, keep working on stuff, but know that there's always probably more that you can be doing. And I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like the biggest key I would give someone is like, bro, work harder, work smarter, not harder. Like literally automate. Okay, like if you're a musician and you don't want to do all the, I don't want to do all the social media. I don't want to be the this and that and that. Do that until you don't have to. Get a social
Hmm.
media manager. Get like eventually get somebody that you can pay to you can just make the content and send it to them once a week or something, or like so that you can focus on your music or your art or whatever. Or you don't want to figure out how to like promote it, like pay for promotion, like like make your
Fiverr.
art. Yeah, Fiverr. Yeah, pay for promotion. Like make your art and leave all the other stuff that a professional can do to a professional that you trust, that you pick. So, um, it will make your life easier. You won't feel overwhelmed with everything. The only thing you'll be doing is checks and balances, checking to see when you get stuff done and like stuff like that. And you just go back and doing your art. When you wear every hat, that's a really fast way to burn out.
Mm,
And your favorite artist, they wore every hat too, but they didn't wear every hat forever. This is the difference. People have
right.
teams. Build your team. Build your team. Like build like who's there to help you, or like who you can pay to help you, or who you can trust, and do the thing that you're really good at, which is your art. And the better you get at like just doing your art like authentically, and moving everything to to other other entities that you don't have to deal with as much, like less stress, more content, more looks, more people paying attention to you. So that's one tip I can definitely give. Automation is king. Like it's real. Like use automation for certain
It's
things. Like like I use it for my
truer
schedules. Like use it
words.
for use it for certain things.
Truer words. Never spoken. Like that is absolutely correct. the importance of having a good team
Hmm.
support. So again, thank you, Andrew, Conscious Bedtime Stories, of spending more time in that genius state, right?
Yeah,
Like you said, it trickles down to if you can create more, art, then you're bringing more eyes to you because you have more content and you don't
yeah,
have to worry about trying to do everything. It's like hammering 10 nails at the same time. Like they're going down, but slowly because you
yeah,
have to, you're
exactly,
jumping from one, So if you could just
exactly.
focus, it'd be good. So on that note, you spoke about your music, and I think your music is cool. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
So tell me about your album Babel Breaker and your thought process in creating this album.
Babel Breaker was a album that I created um, to encompass two styles that I've always created into one, which is just experimental based music. That's what we call it. Um,
Mm,
Battle Breaker I wrote after like going through like crazy amounts of depression and then getting to a point where I had all these thought processes and didn't know how to really you know process or transmute them, so I turned them all into music. So it's just like
mm,
5 or 6 songs that are all correlated related to like how my mental thought process was um, within the time in which I was writing it. Like the song Babel Breaker was based off of me having an ADHD mind and being able to read through all the babble and thought processes in order to focus on what I needed to focus on. It was like kind of like saying like enough of all. It is like just and then there's another one. Sweetest Love was like an Anita Baker flip, and
mm,
that
mm,
one was based off of my connection to soul music my entire life, and my dad introducing me
mm,
to a lot of different types of music and stuff, and how even though it doesn't always sound like it, those influences have always been within my music and sound and stuff like that, and it was like kind of a song to show how they mesh even when you don't think they do because my brain can hear it too. And yeah, it
mm,
was it was an album very much built on like fusing the inspirations that I grew up with, which is jazz, gospel, like hip hop, soul music, and stuff like that, into me getting older and then starting to understand house music. Progressive house was starting to come up when I
mm,
was getting older. Drum and bass, jungle, like different EDM genres were coming into light. So my me being so attached to music growing up, I was engulfed by all of it and couldn't find a way to hate any of it. And I wanted to find a way to make it. So when I first started making music, it was called fusion electro, which is like mixed with like it was like it was basically just like hip hop and R&B mixed with like electro music because I liked them both and I didn't
mm,
know how to let go of them. And then I split them where I was an artist called GBT3 where I was singing rap, and then I was a DJ by CaliCrocodile, and I would just DJ like really hard music. And then once I started producing the heavy music, I was like, I don't want to do them separate. I want to be able to sing and rap over like the same type of music because that's
mm,
how it makes me feel anyway. Um, but I didn't have anyone to really show me how to produce it, so then I just spent over a decade just producing and learning more and more about music and realizing that the connections are really closer to each other than I ever had thought when it comes to the genres and stuff like that. And I started hearing the
mm,
different patterns and
mm,
that are not that different. Like for instance, like a lot of dubstep or really heavy electro works off of 4 on the floor, which is like
mm,
kick clap kick clap kick clap. But it's the same thing as like
mm,
metal, and it's the same thing as like
mm,
gospel, and the same thing
mm.
as a lot of other things too. So it's like when I would hear all those things together, I was like, I wonder what it would sound like if I mixed them. and then I started doing that for like a decade. And so, Babel Breaker album was just me kind of updating everyone on where I am when it comes to my experimental
Mm.
thought process of how genres mix into each other. Um, and I really enjoyed making it. It was really interesting.
And I love what you said about that. Like that's how I feel. Like it's interesting because the past couple of days I put my entire library on shuffle. And I'm like,
Mm.
it's so bipolar. It's like, and I'm like, it's very interesting though because it's like it's all these different emotions, all these different sounds, but they're really just different parts of the same. I
Hmm.
don't know how to put it, but that also made me think about like it's like my favorite artist of all time. Like, but they are hard, like post-hardcore band. I love them because, well, one, I'm from Jersey, so we really do like dance music. It's not just for the Jersey Shore or any of that. We really do like
Yeah,
dance music,
dance music
so
amazing.
that's been a big, it's been a big part. Um, and also, so when I heard them, they're like a hardcore band, but then they also have these dance breakdowns. So that's what they're known for
That's
because like
cool.
the guy will go off and his screams are like crazy and effortless and it takes so much time and like just
That's
just
cool.
power to do that. But then they'll do these dance breakdowns, and then they had this one lead singer, but a lot of them do like the main guy, he's Cuban, so they'll add like a nice little flair there of what do you call it, sango, or and then
That's so
the
cool.
guy really loves R&B, so he has like these really soulful like vocals and it's just like all together and it's just like so like you're screaming one minute then you're dancing the next minute but then you have these smooth R&B vocals and it's just like
That's
a
cool.
lot going on but they are have been my favorite artists of all time because they've been able to blend these genres together effortlessly and it's just really cool so yeah I love that you do that I guess that's why I resonate with your music because I really love like the composition of it all and how they use different aspects. Like I really want to hear the fact that the artist loves music as well, like all genres.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying like that's why I vibe with it because yeah,
that's awesome.
I enjoy that.
That's really cool. Because yeah, that was the biggest thing when I was growing up. I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna really like it. And then I had to think about. It took me a while to get to the point where I was like, you know what? I make this music because it makes me feel good. One,
Yes.
and two, I was like, if it makes me feel this good, it has to make somebody else feel this good. Like you
Hmm.
don't know who it is. It's like, but there's no way like this is invoking this much energy from me and no one else. So you never know who you're gonna touch with what you're making, and that's why you just put your all in it. And my music is always gonna sound like a whole bunch of music morphed together with like soul genres.
Yeah, that's the expression of you.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's
And
nice to get to
so
that point.
yeah, yeah, to really be able to allow yourself to be the fullest expression of yourself and express
Yes.
that through art, like, and then
Yeah.
share it with the world and really like scream it from the mountaintops. Like, look at me, this is the truest expression of me, and I'm gonna find my tribe. It takes a lot of courage, actually. So I love that. It's very courageous, very to be able to stick to it as well because it would have been easy to say, well, nobody's really doing this. I don't know if anybody's going to connect with it. And maybe I'll just, as we talked about earlier, maybe do something a little more digestible or widely accepted. But no, you stuck to it. And, I think it's cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right. And so, lastly, we'll talk about I guess this kind of ties in really well. The power of being able to detach you get into that flow state?
Oh man, detachment is so powerful as a subject. Um,
So to
detachment,
detach.
yeah, detachment's a powerful subject. Um, I feel like the ability to know when something is not good for you, or to know when that energy is not resonating with you at that moment in time, or you don't need it, or etc., is like extremely important. I feel like when you are going into different states, like creative states, you have to be able to separate, like, I guess what some people would call as like our physical reality from
Mm,
the thought process of what you're trying to do or create or manifest in the first place. Since music normally comes from up here, or comes from like the heart, you know. So with that being said, music teaches you a lot about like being able to detach, because um detachment within itself, like being able to let go of things that aren't good for you, being able to release energies that aren't good for you, um, is a big part of the transmutation in making music itself. Because what we're doing is we're detaching those emotions normally, and then we're reattaching it on and that feeling and those things onto a moment in time, which is that song or pattern. Um, There's songs that I have that I don't not like. I just don't listen to all the time. And the reason why is because those songs are attached to like past relationships, um,
mm-hmm.
um, things that I was going through, that like lessons that I learned, because a lot of the songs will be talking about lessons and stuff like that. I've never been like the vulgar type, so I don't talk about people. What I do is I talk about like the things in which I'm feeling inside, and my thought processes, and what I was going through and what I'm feeling. Um, because once I do that, I'm able to detach those feelings from me, put it into transmute it into something else, and maybe somebody else resonates with that energy, and maybe that energy can help somebody that's going through that same energy instead of me having to hold on to it. It's like passing wisdom through a telegram or something. It's like,
Through a
it's just,
vibration,
yeah, you're
through a
just sitting there,
frequency.
just yeah, through a frequency. You're sitting there just you're like, yeah, me too. I understand. And you
Yeah.
let people know that, hey, look, that emotion you're resonating with, or those things, you can let go of those things too, like the things in which I'm talking about, and you can also release those things too. I think music helps people release those type of energies too, because those artists, it's not that they're the only people going through those things, they're able to actually express them in a way that other people can resonate with it. So
Mm,
detachment is necessary, and in order to make music, in order to create music that's going to help other people detach, and just in general, if you're not even making art, detachment will just make your life better when you understand that not everything has to travel with you through this lifetime forever. Some things are just chapters. They're not the whole book.
mm,
Some things are
mm-hmm.
just chapters.
They say a reason, a season, or a lifetime. you know,
Mhm,
you got to cycle through things like the seasons. But
mhm.
you'll always have seasons. There will always
Yeah.
be connections. There will always be nostalgia. But yeah, I resonate with that so much. And I think that was actually really powerful because you're right. As we spoke about, music and sound, is transmutation. It is alchemy of emotions. And so that's a very strong frequency, especially when you're coming from your heart. Um, and that is how we communicate first. Like our heart is a very
Mhm,
strong uh, brain for us, really. And so there will always be people, like you said, on that frequency, like how you feel when you're listening to certain songs that, it reminds you like, okay, I'm on this frequency. I want to listen to these sad songs, or I'm on this frequency. I want to listen
mhm,
to these happy songs. Um, you'll always connect, which has been strongly the case in my journey, to whatever you need in whatever frequency you're on. So as far as people making art, and in this case, if you're making music, what you said earlier is also very true in this is don't worry about anything, just put your heart and soul into it and
Hmm.
transmute that energy and send the frequency that you're trying to send, and the right people will connect with that. So
Yeah, just
yeah, I
make
think that
art.
was
Just make
beautiful.
art. It's
Yes,
it's it's the
yes.
it's the number one rule. Like people are always like, I'll make it, and how am I gonna sell it? I'm like, forget all of that. Like, oh, you can't sell anything if you don't make it. Make art. Just make your content. Like
Just
everything
do it
else
like
can be
Nike.
done. Everything else can be figured out. Everything else. Just make your art.
Mm,
Just put yourself out there. If that's what you want to do. Like, if you really do want people to like see your art, just put it out. Just put it
mm,
out. Like, and keep putting it out. Like, and if it's one of those things where you don't, like, cause music, I can technically just keep pumping music out, but like, okay, you want it to do better. Um, as you're making your art, make little changes to how you release it, who gives it, how, or how,
mm,
like how you get it out to people. See what works, see what doesn't. Like if you're gonna do it on your own, just keep making. The first thing to do is to make the art. Just keep making the art.
yeah.
Everything else we can figure it out.
Mm.
That's what I just try to tell my
And
friends. Like,
one,
just make it.
yeah, it's so right, because honestly, once you start like creating and you get into that flow state, it really does start to just the things, the ideas, what you need will naturally flow to you as you need it. As soon as you let go of that resistance and you, like Abraham Hicks says, flow with the stream, right? Um, because now you're not fighting against the current, you're allowing things to come to you, and you can, if you're aware, you can grab it in that moment. But if you're worried about this and that, you're going to miss the messages that you need that will actually help you, right? It's
Yeah.
like we just get focused on one way of doing something, kind of like that narrative of the guy drowning and God sending him boats, and he's looking for God to literally come out the sky and save him. But he's like, didn't you see all the boats I sent you? Like, there's resources all around us. And we just open our eyes and stop thinking of it like we need money, or we need certain kind of connections, or we need to do it this way or that way. Like, there's an abundance. There's an abundance at this time of resources. And yeah, just if
Yeah.
you're just creating the art in that flow state, then it'll come to you. And also, I would say don't be restrictive about what it is. Just just try it. You'll
Just
never
do
know.
it. Yeah, like one thing that's really big when it comes to the type of music that I make is a lot of the songs that I create, they just started as some random idea or random sound or pattern, and then I continued that. Even if it didn't sound like anything for a while, like it'd be like hours, and I'm like, this sounds so weird. I leave it alone, come back to it the next day, I'm like, oh man, I know exactly what to do to it. And so it's like one of those things where it's like just create. Like you don't know you don't know what it's gonna come out to being. It's just gonna come out to being you, no matter what it is. And don't be so judgmental on your own art. It's okay to be like it's okay to put a lot of energy into your art and want it to be a certain thing, but you have to understand but that the only perfection in that art is what you see as perfection anyway. So like I have to tell myself all the time. Like I'll be making a beat or song and I'll be like, okay, you need to stop because I'll over engineer it. I can work on a song forever,
Mm,
forever. I can just keep adding to it. I can keep trying to make it clearer. I'll change sounds like I can work on a song forever and then be like, yep, nope. And then one of the songs I released this year called Convert Power. I edited I released it um like November of this year. Oh no, October of this year. No, December of this year. But
mm,
me and the artist released it. I mixed it and mastered it a year ago, a year and a half ago.
mm.
Like it wasn't just done. It was done. It was mixed and mastered and everything. Like and we just never did. Like why? I was just like, man, just something is missing something. It isn't just
Mm,
and then I just forgot about the song, and then I was like, hey, I have music I need to release right now. So
but
it's
yeah.
yeah, you just gotta sometimes you just gotta let it go. Like let people like see what you do. Don't worry about opinions. Like it's your art. It doesn't matter what they think. Just keep making your art. Keep exposing it if that's what you want to do. Just make art. Just make art and let it go. Like if it's one of those things, it's like maybe I should or shouldn't put a date on it and let it go. Like
Mm, mm,
trust me, put a date on it, or you'll be holding it for a year and a half.
look, I have to like I am very like goal oriented. And it's not because I have an A-type personality, it's because I'm the complete opposite. And I will like you say, if I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. And I remember like it took me like 3 days just to make like a 10-second clip of a beat. I'm
I'm
just
the
like,
same way.
no, no, and I was like,
Oh,
just I can't like
mhm.
I have to I actually started looking at it like how you have the Zen gardens, right?
Oh yeah.
And really enjoying process because when you start thinking about the final result or all the things that you want to come together, it can become overwhelming. So really just thinking about the flow process and like that Zen garden, just making a masterpiece and then scraping it out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
what's next? Yeah. But I think that was a fantastic message. But I will ask you, what is the one thing that you want everybody to take away from this? Like, what message, I guess, that you feel you need to channel for everyone right now that would really resonate with them?
I would say, past protecting your energy, protect your peace.
Mm,
Um, the biggest message is no matter what you do or you don't do, if it's eating at you spiritually, physically, emotionally, it's not good for you, and you need to protect your peace. And protecting your peace will manifest things that are good for you, and will also bring things that are good for you towards you. But boundaries are like spiritually and just in general are extremely important. You should even have boundaries with yourself and things that you won't allow yourself to do. So yeah, biggest thing is protect your peace, protect your boundaries, and yeah,
yeah, true words were never spoken a lot today. But protecting your peace is very important as well. That ties into protecting your energy. So,
mhm,
um, yeah, because when you're at peace, you're not in fight or flight mode, so you're not in
yeah,
anxiety mode, you know. Um, and that is that state of homeostasis that we all you
yeah,
know, thrive to get to be able to create whatever it is we want to create. So yeah, I thought that was an amazing message, and I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with that, especially this year. There's a lot going on energetically, so everyone protect your peace,
yeah.
protect yourself. Yeah, I love that. So if people want to connect with you, they want to find your music, um, they want to see your shows, how would they reach you?
Well, I'm Cali Crocodile on all platforms. The CaliCrocodile or what? Codile Crocodile. I'm Cali Crocodile on everything. I'm also, if you want to hear music that's like not released, I release that on SoundCloud, under Cali Crocodile. And yeah, I play. Right now, I'm playing mostly shows in California. So if you're in California, you can probably find me playing at some event. I'll be playing at a festival on the 14th and 15th, out here in California. So I would say look me up on any platform that you enjoy, and yeah, see what you are into. You'll find out.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm sure they'll get something from it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So I'm sure you guys, we're all on the same vibes right now. So I'm
yeah.
sure they'll definitely vibe with it.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
it's great.
lastly, where does the universe take you next?
For me, I'm actually working on a lot of video projects. I made a lot of music the past 2 years, but I've always had an issue with like making videos. Like I never wanted
Mm,
to. I'm. It's not that I'm not photogenic or anything. It's just like I don't know. Just not used to making music videos or acting or anything like that. But my friends that are also producers are getting really big into trying to get me to promote myself out there more because my music is starting to get
mhm,
listened to more often. So
mhm.
this year is mostly going to be video year. So I plan to be dropping a lot of different video clips and stuff of music that I've released, as well as the new music that I'll be dropping this year, and more content for behind the scenes on the shows and the different events that I go to as well, so people can get to know who I am as a person, see the face rather than just
And that reminds me, that just gave me one final transmission to everyone out there who were hesitant to present themselves to the world. This
yeah,
is absolutely a time where everyone who was tucked away is being pushed forward to step into the limelight. So if you feel like, colleague, where you didn't want a video year,
hmm,
me, because I had absolutely no intention doing this podcast this year. Did not want to be on video. I had a lot of other projects going on. I was like, no, and here I am. And so, if we can do it, which I'm an introvert, as I said many times,
same,
yeah, everybody, this is it. Like, we're being pushed out because it's time. People are ready for
yeah,
something different. They're tired of the same old, all everything. The world's falling down around us. So what's left? Um, what's left is the beauty of the earth that was covered up by all the distractions.
yeah,
And I feel like that's what we are, right?
agree.
And so that's my final transmission, everyone. Okay, thank you, CaliCrocodile, for joining me today. It's been so
Absolutely,
awesome. This has been
it's
a
been
great
great.
discussion.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you
Um,
so much.
yes, and yeah, we will definitely connect again. But
Absolutely.
everyone, this has been another awesome transmission here from the Ethereal Voyager. And until next time, guys, awaken, ascend, debate. I'm not saying I'm desperate, but I did just try to flip with a black hole. I'm saying,
Not advisable. High chance of ghosting. Permanently.
where to next, Arden?
Coordinates received. Trajectory, radical self-honesty. Destination, the Heart's Rewrite Protocol. Initiating course correction. Next stop, soul contracts, breakup letters, and the liberation of choice.